ask you a few questions first. What do you think of when you hear the word pollution? Raise your hand. Jack.
Think of like garbage and mud and stuff in the water.
Good. Liam? Litter. Maggie?
I think
I think like some fire and stuff like that.
There's water.
like toxic waste.
Those are all really good examples. Yes. Anything else? No? Okay. So then there's two more things I want to tell you about. So, a watershed. Does anybody know what that is? Jack?
I think it's like a place, like a bay.
Yeah, kind of. So that's a water body, and
Oh,
water
like
bodies are found in watersheds, which is a good start. So,
Watershed is like an area. Of water.
yeah, exactly. So we are in the Susquehanna watershed, which is this big area right here. You see? This big one. So watersheds can be really big like that, or they can be super small like this one or this one. Okay? So then water bodies, like Jack was talking about, they can be a bay or a lake or a pond, a stream, an ocean, things like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So there are two kinds of pollution we can see. So there's point source and non-point source. Point source pollution comes from specific areas. So, for example, in our little display here, we have an industrial plant. So let's say that this industrial plant is releasing wastewater that they didn't separate the waste and just okay. So this is the wastewater that they didn't filter out. And let's see where it goes. What's happening here?
It's moving through the water and it's gonna end up in the ocean.
So that's an example of point source pollution because we can trace this pollution all the way back to this pipe of the industrial plant. Okay, we can tell. We can tell specifically where it's coming from. Okay,
What is it?
this or this?
That.
This is waste. We're gonna pretend that that's waste. Okay. So then we have another example of a point source, which is this stormwater drain. Okay. So this is another specific place where pollution can come from. So let's say that in this little neighborhood here, there's a lot of oils and grease coming from cars that are
That is so.
okay. That's a source of pollution. So if it ends up in this stormwater drain, I'm gonna try to get it in here.
And even so, it could go down.
It can go down the road.
It can go down the road, or it can go through this stormwater pipe.
Oh, I smell
Coming
it.
into the ocean.
It's still
That's
moving
going
to
into
the
the
ocean.
ocean.
either
I
way.
smell it. And mix it in with the oil.
It's mixing in with the waste from the industrial plant.
I smelled it. Lots of different pollution waste.
It smells
I
bad.
really like that smell.
So, listen up, guys. Those are two point sources of pollution because we can
Trace it to
Trace
where it
that.
was.
trace the pollution back to where it came from. Okay. So we have point source, which is that, and then there's non-point sources, which we can't really tell where they're coming from all the time. So, can anybody?
going down the road.
Yeah, that could be an example of non-point source. So, they can be coming from a bunch of different places, from cars on the road, things like that. So, let's say that these cars are giving off a lot of oils and grease on these roads. Look at all that.
Air pollution.
Air pollution too. We can't always see the road. So then we have a few more examples.
If it goes all the way to the
That's okay. That's okay. That would be good. End up on the floor. So another example of non-point source is in our own lawns and gardens. If you have a garden. So we use fertilizers and pesticides, right? Do you guys know what those are? So yeah, fertilizers help our plants grow, and pesticides keep bugs away. And when they're used in the right amounts, they're actually pretty good at what they do. They help our plants grow and they keep away bugs that kill our plants. And they do the same thing on farms. They use fertilizers and pesticides. Okay?
And then when it rains, all the stuff goes down.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Waterways.
So we have fertilizer,
Yeah, that's how.
pesticides. He's fine.
Oh, that smells good.
That's what the kids said yesterday. Brown sugar? So,
What?
Kool-Aid.
Ooh, that's why it smells good.
Okay, one more example for you. So, this forest only has 2 trees. So, we're going to say that it's been clear cut for the most part. So, it's lost most of its trees because people wanted to use the lumber. People wanted to use the lumber for making paper, furniture, you name it. Okay? So, all of these non-point sources are going to end up where do you think when it rains?
In the storm drain or in the ocean.
So So what we're gonna do now, is we're gonna take turns making it rain, okay? And I want you all to see what happens when a lot of water combines with all these food containers, okay? Sure. So we're gonna each take turns. Who wants to go first? Me. I think I saw it. So take a few squirts and then pass it to somebody else. Okay, we're gonna make it a huge rainstorm.
Big thunderstorm.
Why don't
So
we
lots
go
of
in a
spray.
circle?
That's up to you guys. Yeah, just pass it on to whoever you want.
Stuff's turning red. That's all the pesticides.
Lots of rain. I know it doesn't smell the best.
Well, the soy sauce made it smell.
Yeah, the soy sauce.
That tree fell.
That's okay. It fell yesterday too.
It's still in the rainstorm, Lila.
Yeah, it's a really strong rainstorm.
Get some thunder.
Guys, got a map filling the wind. There we go. Sound effects. Keep making it rain. Go, go, go. Lots of rain.
Yeah. Thunder. Who's our thunder?
Good. Okay, let's pass it over to someone else.
Yeah.
Car's going.
Guys, let me blow the car.
It's not a tornado, guys. It's just a thunderstorm.
Oh, Caleb! I can blow the soy sauce. What if that was the oil?
Keep going. Make sure you're aiming it down, okay?
I'm
Like
blowing the car. Okay, let it go.
if you want to.
Blow the car. Oh my God. The car just wants to go home. Stop it. Stop. Even though that car is like
Okay, guys.
the
Okay,
same
okay,
size
okay.
as the house.
Make sure she can reach.
Okay, stop.
Okay, did everybody get a turn? Did everyone get a turn? One at a time? Okay. Eyes up here. Eyes up here. So, we're going to make it rain a little bit more. I want you to keep watching. So, all these pesticides and fertilizers that, let's say, these people use too much. Where are they ending up? Where are they going?
In the ocean.
Storm drain? Which leads to where? The ocean.
Rivers.
Or that big water.
It smells really good.
Rivers. Lake.
Well, we sprayed the car. We sprayed the
And
car.
then
Make the car go zoom.
all the soil from this clear-cut forest, where's it going? It's going down.
What about this?
That stuff's going to go the same
What about
place.
the car? The car's gonna get washed away into those.
Sure. The car ends up in the ocean.
Oh, it's so
The big storm, hurricane. Sorry, bud.
And the tractor goes in the ocean. The barns and houses go into the ocean.
Okay, so we get the
Even
picture,
the
right?
cows
Hands
go
off,
into
hands off,
the
hands off.
ocean.
That's okay. He's probably going to just stay like that.
Bye-bye.
So,
The pollution killed
so
them.
what do we take from this?
That,
It causes destruction.
we shouldn't
We
use
shouldn't
too
do it.
much
Destruction.
pesticide.
Okay, so I have one more question for everybody. Eyes up here, eyes up here. Listen, eyes up here. So, from everything that we just talked about, I want everybody to try to think of one thing that they can do at home to keep pollution out of our waterways. And it can be relating to what we just talked about, or if you think of something else that we didn't cover, you can talk about that too.
Is that soy sauce?
Okay. So whenever you're ready, you can raise your hand up there. Go ahead, Jack.
Don't use pesticides that much.
Yeah, don't use pesticides too much. You want to use the right amount. So always read the label and see how much is safe to use.
Don't over-fertilize.
Don't over-fertilize. Good.
Don't use too much power.
That's a good one.
Don't touch
Anything else? Jack,
Don't use too much water.
don't use too much water. Take shorter showers. Turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth.
Don't buy from factories because then they go out of business and stuff like that.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
What
Anything
about how we
else?
get
Oh,
places,
we can-
like transportation? What can we do with that?
Bike.
Bike.
Walking.
Walking.
That's
Walking, running.
How many of y'all know how to ride a bike?
Scooter.
One person knows how to ride a bike without two.
Oh, I know how to.
Do you know how to ride bikes here?
I know how to
I know
ride
how to
bikes.
Roller skating?
I know how to roller skate.
Kind of. I'll roller skate down the road.
Yeah.
Or use
I can bike.
Those are all ways that we cannot put carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
Or electric vehicles.
Yeah.
You got a little on the table there.
So,
Gatorade.
guys, that's okay. So, there's a lot that you can do, even though you're kids, to keep pollution out of our waterways, right? And that was a short list. There's a lot more we can do, right, Leanne? There's a lot more we can do. Okay? So I just want you, what I want you guys to take from this is that even though you're kids, there's a lot you can do to help the environment, okay?
And you can be be really powerful and take everything that you learn and teach your parents and your friends and make an even bigger change.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, how did you make this?
I didn't make it.
You can
I
buy
just kind
it.
of put the stuff on it.
You buy it.
Yeah, you buy it and it comes. But anyway, did we have fun today?
Yes.
Did we learn something new?
Yes.
Yeah? Yes.
Now can we
No, we can't play with it now. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk about awards and we're gonna get our certificates. And then you guys get to go home.
And I need to put I get free.
Okay? Everybody gets okay?
All right, guys, put the tractors
Hands
down.
up, hands
Tractors are out of service now. Real quick, like I said this morning, I'm the Middle Susquehanna Riverkeeper. Morgan and Danielle are our interns for this summer. So can you give them a hand for presenting? So, and for the rest of the helpers and staff, can you guys give them a round of a hand? Because obviously we couldn't do this without all of you. Okay, so today, HERYN. Normally a heron, a blue heron, H-E-R-O-N. We changed it a little bit just to be weird. So helping engage our rivers youth with nature. Just pretend you don't see that O with that W. So the whole goal today was to get you guys out in nature. So what are some things you guys saw quick out in nature? Water, very good. Yeah, fish, lots and lots of fish. Trees, okay. Seaweed. Yeah, ginormous bass. Mussels. Clams, yeah, very good. And lots of other stuff. We saw frogs, and we saw, someone said he saw a snake. Jack said he saw a snake. Okay, so lots of nature going on today, so very cool. And obviously our goal is, we want you, spiders, yeah. But they're important. So obviously we want you guys to go out and to enjoy and get excited about being outdoors. That was the whole point of today. So in a minute, we're going to, I'm going to grab certificates. You guys are each going to get a certificate and then a packet with that. In the packet, you're going to get 3 things. Get them apart here. You're going to get an overview of fish species. So if you're out fishing and you catch something that you're not really sure what it is, you can check this out. Morgan actually put this together for you guys earlier last week. We also have a poster we're going to give you with an overview of fish species. You're also going to get an overview sheet, a little note for myself, and there's contact information. So if you want to go fishing or kayaking after here, and you want some resources to get your parents out, maybe they have questions, there's a ton of different options here. There's local bait shops and different groups that have helped us put this program on today that we couldn't do without. Groups like Calls Marine and some others. You'll notice Casey's name is on here as a contact, and Jolene and John Ost are instructors who are helping out. So if you guys need to reach out and have questions, feel free to do so. There's also information from the Susquehanna Greenway that you guys can grab. I'll send it out quick before you go. There's also there's things on there called a paddling toolkit where your parents can learn how to kayak if they don't know already, and some other options. Lastly, in your packet, you'll get this participant survey, and this is very important. I really would need all of you guys before you leave today. Right after we do the certificates, we're going to go down to the lake for a picture with you guys and the staff members all together. We'll come back up here, and then I would like you guys to take it just a couple minutes and write down what you thought of today on this survey and give it to us before you go. Okay? It's really important, and if you can't do it yourself, no big deal. You can ask a staff member or a parent or someone to help you fill it out. But this is going to help us because you guys are the very first people this week to ever do a HERYN program in the whole world. So we want to make sure that this is as good as possible. We want to make it better than what it is. So we need your feedback so we can do that. Okay? So that's all we ask in return. So I'll get your certificates. I'll hand those out. Then we have some awards for Miss Jolene and Miss Casey, Mr. Casey, for fishing and kayaking. And then we'll go down for pictures, and we'll come back and you do your surveys, and then you're good to go. Okay? Sound good? All right.